specialize in education and career or employment relocation. Now, one of our major goals is to, considering that we have been operating for the longest, one of our major goals is to really offer the opportunities to the right people, of course. And that's why we decided to have this webinar. It's a free webinar. I know that you might be a recent graduate or people who are willing to relocate, whether through that be through education or through an employment route, looking to relocate to Europe or outside of Europe as well. We also offer opportunities to the Asian market, North American market as well. So the whole point of this collaboration is to offer you a session where you can get as many information as you can to ask any questions that you want and to feel free to let us know what your goals are so we can help you with that. We can guide you with that. Now, joining here in this webinar, we also have two our education consultants, Prince and Henry. They're basically the best in their field. They're both with a 100% success rate, not only when it comes to Europe, but also Asia and North America as well. So I really wanted to introduce them before, because they will be basically the one that will be handling your questions. And we really wanted this webinar to be in the form of any like a Q&A sector. We have some subjects that we do want to discuss. For example, in a lot of agencies, right? They only target you towards the North American market, but there are so many opportunities in the European market. A lot of people never have heard of US equivalent degrees. There are plenty of universities that offer US equivalent degrees, and one of the perks of this is that you can have an exchange program with the US university. So that's the first thing. Another thing is governmental scholarships, not from Ghana, but to the country that you will be going to the receiving country. So we will be going through this more in depth. If I can also like share my screen so we can go over the topic. And then at the Q&A sector, we can share maybe a whiteboard. Would that be okay?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. So, okay, just give me a minute so I can share my screen. I don't know if I can share my screen.
Minute. Let me check. Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. And by the way, I want you guys, no, I can't share considering there is a whiteboard here. Also, I do want you guys to have to basically address any questions that you have. Considering that we have been in this market for the past 5 years, we have heard all of the stupid questions. So trust me, there are no stupid questions. Okay. So feel free to let us know about your situation, your goals, and then we will like portray the route that you may follow. Okay. So let me take a minute here. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect then. All right. So as I mentioned, it's a collaboration. It's basically a collab between Travel Center Ghana and Ghost Consulting. We will go through the topics one by one, and for every topic that we will go through, you guys can ask your questions. Okay? Would that be all right?
Yes, please.
Oh,
Yes, please, you will.
okay, perfect. All right. So before I do that, I do want Henry and Prince to introduce themselves a little bit. So Henry, Prince, the floor is yours. Just you can tell the audience what you do, how long have you been doing it, and stuff like that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Henry. I'm an education consultant. I've been an education consultant for the last 3, 4 years. We have worked with different nationalities, different students, both bachelor, masters, high schools. We are more focused on European market, but have also worked in Asia, North America, Australia, and South America. Me and Elena and the team, we are here for all your questions. We're going to give you a whole through presentation about the education, the career consulting, the trends of the careers and the new age of the AI. We are here, as Alan said, for all your questions, so don't be shy to ask us anything you need. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Abuga, but for easier reference, you can call me Prince, right? I am a graduate from KNUSD, and I've been in this field for the past 4 years. I've gotten people into top schools like Yale, Columbia, Drexel, and so many German schools as well with very good funding. And I am here for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay, see guys, we only brought you the best of the best. So, all right, let us go through the presentation. The idea is the presentation is not like in depth because the idea is to have a very engaging session, a very engaging webinar with you guys. And we can go through the topics. So the first one is who in here is a recent graduate? And also, you can, I think that you can do like a marking, like a raising hands. I think that works in Google Meet. I don't know if it works on Zoom, but you can like maybe add it on the chat who in here is a recent graduate and what is your bachelor's as well? Like in what program did you study? Let me check the chat.
Yeah, so I can see a few people raising their hands. I think Francis or so did.
Oh, I can't see it. Anyway, okay, I see that people are raising hands. Okay. You can also unmute yourselves and talk.
Yeah.
That is also a great idea as well. The people that will be talking will gain the most value out of this webinar. I'm just saying.
Okay, Sarah said, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a recent. Okay, PR with marketing. That's public relations with marketing.
Okay. We have marketing. What other program do we have?
Okay, so there is sociology,
Okay.
communications,
Mm-hmm.
public relations as well, marketing again, accounting.
Okay.
Okay, communications, public relations. Okay, good.
All right. I see one person has raised their hand. You can also unmute yourself.
Oheneba, is that Prince?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So, Elena, quite a number of us here are public relations graduates, but then, of course, mechanical engineering, like Oheneba, Nanajua is midwifery. So we have quite a diverse group
Okay.
of qualified students over here.
All right. Okay. Okay. The reason why I ask is because the more that we know, the more tailored our approach will be and our answers will be as well. So that's why I asked. Now, guys, what is your goal? Because before we present you with the opportunities, we need to know what your goal is. Like, what are you targeting? Maybe a master's in a specific country, maybe a certain, I don't know, scholarship that you're aiming or something. What is your like your main goal? You can add it on the chat or you can also unmute yourself.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Sorry. So my name is Jemima. Aiming at having probably a fully funded scholarship with my tuition sorted out, like majority of my basic necessities sorting out with partial maybe job permits to pursuing while pursuing my course also. I love the idea of artificial intelligence, but I do not have a tech background, and I would love to know if there are schools that might, still be ready to admit me into doing advanced artificial intelligence, even if it is a 2 year MA course. I'll be very glad. And if not, then I need to know about international relations and the requirements as well as um, everything I need to know before heading there. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, I understand. We will go through everything more in detail just a little bit later. But thank you for unmuting yourself and introducing yourself. Okay, that is brave. Do we have anyone else that wants to share something? I'm waiting.
Hi, my name is Kezia.
Hmm. Nice to
So, nice to meet you too. I recently graduated communication studies in journalism, but I'd like to pursue LLB course, which is law outside the country. So, I'll really be glad if I'll be funded, fully funded, especially, and then maybe a partial job aside to actually fund myself for certain things and that. Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know if that would be possible, but I would be really glad if that would be possible.
Okay. Do you have any countries in mind?
Canada.
Hmm.
For now, that's what I have in mind. I only have Canada in mind.
So Canada, fully funded, and then a part-time job.
Yes.
Hmm.
That is probably the hardest scenario, especially with Canada. Especially
Canada,
with Canada. Yeah.
Canada with fully funded and not a research background do not go hand in hand.
Mm.
Okay.
Canada
Yeah.
is one of the hardest countries to get into. The reason why because let me tell you, let me share something with you. I told you before that we have been operating in this market for over 4 years now. And something that we noticed is that the tendency for people when it comes to their studies was US, Canada, and then fully funded. But the problem was here. People will come to us and they will be like, oh, I want to go to school in Canada. I want to go to school in the US, right? They will get into the university and then they will be like, can I get a fully funded scholarship now? And there is the problem because the application is different, right? There are some things that we need to know beforehand. That's why, considering that Canada and the US are not the easiest countries to get into, but not only get into, but also stay in there, because there are people who got into Canada and the US, but it's very, very difficult to find a job. Okay, especially with today's market. Now, considering that we saw this and we had this tendency, we kind of like targeted our eyes towards Europe. The reason why we did that is because there are plenty more opportunities in Europe compared to US and Canada. The reason why, well, there are plenty of reasons. The old like the older elderly population and stuff like that, as well as they are more friendly towards international students compared to US and Canada. In US and Canada, in order for you to get a scholarship, you need a full portfolio compared to Europe. I'm not saying it's the less effort when it comes to Europe, but there are more opportunities in Europe, okay? You can select the country. Different countries have different opportunities. And not only that, okay? That's why we target our eyes towards Europe. Okay. For example, in the US, there are no government scholarships. It's like finding a needle if you want to search a scholarship in the US. Okay. That's why we targeted our eyes towards Europe. And that's why our main clients are targeted towards Europe. Because I can show you all of the opportunities. And the moment that I show you all of the opportunities that you have, and I can tell you, for example, oh, in this country in Europe, you have this opportunity. In the US, you have this, okay? Now, in Canada, you might have that. In this country in Europe, you might have this. If you would get to select, trust me, you will get to select the European ones, okay? Don't only think about the education, think about everything that will follow right after as well, okay? Anyway, let us go through everything that we have prepared today and then we can address each and every one's situation one by one. Okay? Is that all right?
Yes, please. That's all right.
Okay, perfect.
I would like to say something, but maybe when you're done with
Okay, just
what.
don't forget. Okay.
Okay, well.
Okay, all right. So the first topic is US equivalent degrees. Now, Canada and US are the top favorite. I know that. But there are also something called a US equivalent degree. Now, Prince Henry, he wants to take the floor here to introduce this program a little bit.
I can start if you guys want.
Mhm.
Okay, about the US equivalent degrees. As I saw from the comments here and from the trends, a lot of people want to move to the US. As we all might know, the education in the US is very expensive. But there are universities and colleges abroad, outside of the United States, in Europe, in Asia, everywhere that has accredited US degrees, which means you can have a degree in these universities and be eligible for exchange programs in partner universities in the US. The strong points of these programs are first and foremost the financial ones. These programs are one fifth, one fourth, one third of the tuition that you have in the US. If we are speaking about 40,000, 50,000, $60,000 tuition annually in the United States, these institutions can have tuitions as low as 10,000 or 15,000 US dollars for the same equivalent degree because the degree is accredited by a US institution. This being said, this is a pathway for another degree in the US. Instead of doing 5, 6, 7 years of education all in the United States with a cost tremendously high, we suggest you do a US degree in Europe or in Asia, which is equivalent to the same importance and the same accreditation to the ones in the US for a fifth of the price. And then you do another master's 1 year in the US. So instead of 7 years in the United States or 6 years in the United States, you do 3, 4, 5 in Europe or in Asia, and then you do one extra year in United States. This is to cut the costs by 80%, by 90%, both living costs, because the living costs in Asia and Europe are far lower than the living costs in the United States. Majority, as I said, of these institutions allow students to apply for exchange programs during their studies, which means if you are studying, for example, at an American accredited university in France, during the years that you're going to be studying there, you have the opportunity, most likely, to have an exchange program in the United States, where you can see United States, you can get connections there, and it would be an easier path for you if your destination is the US. This is a summarization of the US equivalent degrees. The major that we said is the costs, is 10%, 15%, 20% of the costs that you was going to spend in the United States. Thank you. If anyone has a question, feel free to ask, of course.
Yeah, the cost is one thing, and another thing, there are plenty of perks as well. For example, Henry, me, and Prince were talking about, I think 2, 3 days ago, when we were discussing some pathways for a couple of clients that we have, and we were saying that the best pathway for some people is definitely US equivalent degrees. Now, of course, the funding is the issue, right? People that want the US dream but don't have the US money, they go for US equivalent degrees. There are also plenty of exchange programs, okay? So you, for example, might go to a US equivalent not university, but program, right, within a certain university, let's say in Romania or Bulgaria, right? And you can also apply for an exchange program to go to the US. You can do 1 semester, 2 semesters abroad, depending on your financial budget, and then you can come back. Okay. If you decide to come back, you are more likely to land a job in the country that you studied in, but as well as if you want to apply to a certain job whenever you can relocate to the US ultimately, right? If your goal is the US, you are also like kind of like how to say like you are eligible to apply to positions there as well. Okay. People that have a US equivalent degree and you've for example, let's say that you studied a US equivalent degree in Bulgaria, for example. Every program is taught in English, I have to say that. And for this US equivalent degree, let's say that you studied this in Bulgaria, you are most likely to land a higher paying job compared to the other people that did not study this program. Okay, so always take a look at what is this master's program going to provide me with. If I tell you that you will have a higher paying job, you have the opportunities to study abroad through the exchange program, 1 semester or 2 semesters, okay? And then come back, make sure you gather your finances, and then land a higher paying job. That is a really good opportunity for a lot of people. Don't you guys think that? Let me know what you think, because I want to have this webinar kind of like in a conversation format. Wait, Deborah, I think you talked something, but I didn't hear it.
Oh, I said, yeah, what you're saying is true.
Yeah. Because you always have to think about what happens after. Masters only last 2 years, maximum three. Okay. So what happens after that? A higher paying job in the country. First things first, you will be outside of your country because the main goal is to relocate. The second thing is that you will have a master's in a program that you really like. The third thing is that after this program, or first things first, during this program, you want to study in the US, you can go to the US depending on your budget. If you want to stay there for a whole semester, stay there for a whole semester. You want to do two, you can do two. That is depending on your personal budget. Okay, if you have the US money, by all means go there. Let's say that you come back and you want to land a job in marketing, for example. You have a degree that is worth more than what other people already have there. Okay, so me as a career consultant, because I'm more specialized towards career consultant, Prince and Henry are the ones that are education focused. Me as a career consultant, the moment that I see that you have a degree, that you have a US equivalent degree, that thing is worth way more in Europe compared to the US. Okay. And then with the moment that I see that, I'm going to be like, okay, let's target this, let's target that. The world is not focused only in the US. Okay. There's plenty of opportunities abroad as well. Europe offers some of the best opportunities ever. Okay. Especially when it comes to the employment market. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Okay, all right. And considering that you guys told me marketing, PR, communications, there's plenty of programs that offer degrees in that field as well. And not only that, the moment that you have US equivalent degrees, you also have companies, American companies that have international branches. Uh, for example, I'm not going to give you like a banking example, but agencies like marketing agencies, the really big marketing agency, they also have branches in Europe as well. So you can get hired there compared to going for a assistant job in the US, you know? So
Yeah.
always decide where you will benefit the most. Don't look at the big title, at the shiny thing. Look at the pathway that you will benefit the most. Okay? Majority of people that go to Canada, because trust me, I've worked with over 1,000 people and 80% of them are always in Canada. I don't know why, it probably is my life lux to work with Canada employment market, but um, the majority of people that go to Canada study there. They stay 2 to 3 years and then they come back. Okay. And let's say that you stayed there for the longest. You have to go through the corporate ladder one by one. Okay. In Europe, you can also jump in the corporate ladder. It's not like you have because there's not a lot of competition as well. Okay. I've noticed that in the European market. So a lot of people need to be looking at where the real opportunity is compared to just going where everyone is going to. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Can you say something, Elena, about what we were discussing?
Tell me.
About the part of the US degrees. I saw that a lot of you guys are studying sociology, communications, PR, marketing, business analytics, human resources, some others, which are mostly people-oriented degrees. I wanted to tell something about the career part. 50% or more is networking. The thing that is going to matter the most is who are you going to know for the 2 years that you are going to do the masters. This is a very, very strong point of the US colleges and universities in Europe because they are mostly small compared to other universities. These are not universities with 30, 50, 60,000 students. These are universities with a couple thousand students, and the ratio between professors and the students is better than in those universities, in public universities. In these universities, more than often, the owners or the founders are part of large corporations, are part of large business groups, which means the network you can create in these universities is by far highest and better than those you can create in a public university, for example. But you guys have to understand that you have to go out and about when you say you have to meet people, you have to get as many contacts as you can wherever you go. It doesn't matter like where you go. In these universities, you have the opportunity to meet a lot of people because these are structured as US colleges, and US colleges are way easier on the curriculum side. For example, you don't have like a strict curriculum like in Europe, where you have a certain amount of credits and you can move. You cannot play with the credits. In these universities, it's like the same in the United States. You choose what you want to do, and you make your degree as much specialized as you can on what you want to do in the future. And in these universities, you're going to have the best opportunity to meet people and to be part of corporations. And as Elena said, the number of US corporations or the number of any other country corporations is a huge difference. United States has thousands, if not more, of tens of thousands of companies worth more than 50 million, 100 million, or even 1 billions, like unicorns that are called in finance. These companies actively work with students who are studying in United States accredited institutions. These companies' branches in Europe are by default going to work closely with US accredited institutions, which means this is by far the largest and the best option if you want to create a network. Of course, the funding is a fifth, a sixth, a fourth of what you would spend in the US. And as I saw from the comments, a lot of people want to move to US. So as we previously said, this could be like the best start for that. But again, network is half of the work. You have to network crazy. You have to meet as many people as you can and know as many people as you can. And Europe, because it's small continent with a lot of people, gives you this opportunity. Thank you.
That is very, very true. Thank you, Henry, for touching on this point. I'm going to give you an example. There is something called in Albania, it's this university, Tirana Business University. The owner of this, because in order for you to have a US accredited university, someone has to take on the project, and it has to be someone from that country, for example, from Romania, from Bulgaria, in order for them to invest in this. Okay, so the people that usually do this are really big business owners, right? And they kind of like have the program where they train the people, they like educate the people, and then they hire them in their own companies as well. So this is a scenario that happens almost every single time as well. So this does not happen for every university, but for a majority, good majority of them, it does happen. Okay. So right there you have the education pathway and a work contract at the end of the university as well. So yeah, there are plenty of benefits with the U.S. equivalent degrees, as we mentioned before. The price is usually why people go for it, the funding. But they discovered that during their stay there, during their studies, there are plenty of more pros when it comes to studying at universities like that as well. So, any questions regarding the U.S. equivalent degrees?
Elena,
Someone lifted his hands in
I
the
want
chat.
to
Francis.
touch on this for me, Elena. Um, apart from, you see, when you began, you asked for those who have completed their degree. So there are those here who have a diploma and are looking at continuing to get full degree. And some of them are wondering whether this conversation includes them. There are those who studied diploma in practical courses like, let's say, engineering, welding, and whatnot. So some of them are here and they would want to know whether they're included in this conversation. So if you could touch on
Okay,
that.
so okay, engineering, welding, all right, so professional schools, right?
Yes.
Okay, that is also counted, right? But there's also another option for you guys. Like this is what I like as well. Like the reason why we have this webinar is because everyone has different backgrounds, and I really want to target each and everyone's background and each and everyone's situation as well. Now, when it comes to professional schools, uh, first things first, these are one of my favorites. Why? Because you guys can select. Okay. You can also get directly to employment, or you can pursue your education, maybe receive a master's, etc. Okay. Now, um, does the U.S. equivalent degrees apply to you? Yes, it does. Does the full scholarship free education apply to you? Not in all of the cases. Okay. But you can also go directly to employment. Now, another thing that we do is that we don't only work with the education side, we also work with the career side because at the end of the day, these two are like intertwined. You can't do one without the other. So, I would suggest you do something like this. Target a country that offers and that has the highest job requirements. For example, for engineering, for welding, or for any professional school that has to do with heavy industry in general, Poland, Germany, and Scandinavian countries are the best ones to go for. A lot of people go towards Canada, but there are no open positions in Canada for these. There are open positions, but they only hire through a very, very inner circle, closed circle. Okay. Either through that or through Indian recruiters. And that industry is really hard to crack, okay? But Europe contracts are way more accessible. For example, one thing that we have done is that we operate a lot with getting hired in the German market. There are plenty of open contracts when it comes to welding, when it comes to engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, et cetera, where you don't need a lot of excessive background, not a lot of excessive education, because at the end of the day, these are professional schools. You already know how to do certain stuff. They will also train you the first 3 to 6 months in order on how you can handle stuff. Plus, you won't get hired at a manager position, like you won't be the person who's in charge or responsible for that. Okay. Okay. At the end of the day, they will train you. Okay. I'm not saying you can go there without no experience because you have to have a little bit of experience. Okay. You have to know what is what. Okay. Now, let's say that you go through the employment route. Okay. You can get a contract with having at least 1 year of experience in Germany, for example, in Poland, for example, as well. Why? Because there's plenty of open positions. If you have a background from a professional schools are not highly rated in the North American market or in any other market compared to the European market. Why? Because the starting salaries are really, really good. I'm talking about a starting salary of 1.8 thousand euros, like netto, not without excluding taxes and anything. That is a starting salary for someone that has a practical professional background. All right. Engineers that have a degree that want to pursue education, you can do that. There's plenty of hiring opportunities as well. Now, if you don't want to pursue that and you also have a bachelor's degree, right, you can also find a job with a really good paying salary in Germany or in Poland, okay? I suggest Germany because we have access to contracts in Germany, okay? The only thing is focus on learning a little bit the language and then getting the contract to basically to get employed by the company, okay? So if your background is a professional school, you have options. You either have the employment option or you have the education option. If you want to go for education, you can do that. You can add more to your background. If you don't want to do that, go for the employment route, okay? And like along the way, you can kind of like maybe say that I want to find a more niched market towards this. I'm going to pursue a professional education regarding this, okay? Does that make sense? Who in this webinar is with a background in welding or engineering or something similar to that, like heavy industry in general?
There's a hand up.
Okay, so I would like to add on to the fact that there are some schools in Germany that would pay you for schooling. I mean, if you are in this professional field, right? For those of you in welding, plumbing, whatever, there are some vocational schools that accommodate the needs of schooling and working at the same time. The only downside on this is that you would need to learn the language. Okay, and
But it takes
German,
6 months. I have to say that it takes 6 months.
yeah,
And
I mean,
listen, this is a subject that I'm very, very passionate about because a lot of people don't know about this, but
yeah,
it's one of the best things that you can do because you're not only working, you're not only studying, you're also working. So you also get like an allowance. It's usually like 800 euros, 900 euros per month from the government, and you have a guaranteed work contract at the end of the basically the end of your professional studies.
yeah,
Eligibility is what they call it. So this only exists in Germany, by the way.
yeah.
But yeah. It's actually a really great opportunity for the people that have a background in professional schools. So again, to recap, you have three opportunities. You either go for a US equivalent degree, or you go for the Ausbildung route, which is work and study. Okay. The work and study is what Prince mentioned. You need to know German here, by the way. So, but learning German only takes 6 months. So it's like a 6 month investment for your entire life, which will shift at 180 degrees. And then You pursue this, you have an allowance of 800 to 900 euros per month from the government. And then from there, you have a guaranteed working contract at the end of your education. It usually is a 1 year to 2 years education. And then this is the second option. The third option is going directly for a working contract. The starting salary depends on the company, but it's usually 1.8 thousand euros netto. Okay. So this is your third option. If you're from a professional schools, Europe loves professional degrees because there's plenty of openings, there's plenty of opportunities here. The population is leaving Europe, and the population that already had like that is resident in Europe, um, it's a very, I don't want to say old, but it's getting older. Okay, so they need young people that are willing to do the work as well. So you have these three options, which in my opinion are great. I know that professional schools are not that highly evaluated, but in Europe, you can build a life here.
Yeah. So everything will depend on your career goals. There are some people who wouldn't want to further their education and we just want to jump straight into the job market, right? The career route will be best for you. But those of you who still want to like improve on your knowledge within your sector, studying, working also works for you as well.
Okay, Abuga. So what I want you to do for us is to take, let's say, somebody has finished a degree this year. Now the person sees that we're talking about studying in Europe for free. So this person is interested and this person has joined. Can you take any European country and take us through what the person is expected to do?
If I may about that, I could give you a whole presentation about the whole countries in Europe when it comes to like the low tuition. So basically, the first and the foremost, the easiest by far about the tuitions is Germany. Germany would be like my number one suggestion about studying for a lot of reasons, but the first one, of course, is the tuition. Is one of the only countries in Europe who still has almost zero tuition. You pay about $600 uh, in year, but the sort of tuition that's more like you have also the travel document there. So like in that 600 tuition is also the travel expenses covered for the trams and the buses in the city you are studying. So it's not only school payment, it's not a tuition fee. For the next year, some universities in Germany, some regions in Germany are starting to put tuitions about 3,000 euros a year in Baden-Württemberg, in Stuttgart, but we still have good options because half of the Germany is still tuition free. The next country when the tuitions are always France. In France, tuitions are basically between 300 euros to 4,000 euros, and sometimes it depends on the income of the student that goes. Another country with low tuitions is Italy. Italy also has a system in a lot of universities with tuition being based on the student's family's income in a way. So from 200, 300 euros the lowest or something more to about 4,000 euros. Another country with low tuition fees is Spain. Spain, for the most part, has like a fixed, but it depends university to university, a fixed amount of tuition of about 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 euros. And of course, Switzerland also has a very low tuition fee, which is 1,500 francs. But in Switzerland, we all know is the living cost. So I wanted to give an explanation about like the two main shields are out of the expenses. One is the university and the other is the living expenses. Because, for example, even if Germany is free, the tuition is free, education is basically free, you still need about 15,000 US dollars or maybe less, depending on lifestyle, to live there for a year. In Poland, for example, you pay about 4,000, 5,000 a year in tuition, but you need about 8,000 to 9,000 to live. So like it goes hand in hand. Some countries you have small tuition, but you have larger living expenses. But again, the best suggestion would be Germany because of the post-study options that they give. As I said, the tuition is free, so like we are talking about tuition very low, 500, 600 euros. And as I said, in that amount, there is also included the transportation ticket. So basically 500 a year. And it's in most of Germany like this, like northern countries like Berlin, for example, Frankfurt, until now, Hamburg until now still have this system. Leipzig, Dresden, they still have this system. It's gonna change in the following years. So like these are the last years where Germany is still tuition free. Other countries with low living expenses could be Eastern Europe. Like as I said, Poland, but not only, you have Slovakia, we have Romania, we have Hungary, Croatia, Bulgaria, Greece to a certain extent. These are countries with relatively low living expenses compared to Western Europe or North America, of course. So for free tuition, to summarize, Germany is my number one suggestion, France coming right behind. But France and Italy, as we said, have a system when it's based on your family's income for the most part, because every university and every region in Europe might have its own rules. There are some rules that go across the board, but there are some specific rules about specific regions, universities, and programs, basically to summarize. And of course, the Northern Europe has high tuition. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland have about 10,000, 11,000 euros a year only tuition. If anyone has any question about the tuitions, you are free to ask, no problem.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes?
Hello. So speaking for myself as a communication student with a diploma, which Europe country would you recommend for me as best for tuition, and especially in this technological world we are in? What do you think my career path should be in this world we are in as a student, learning outside?
Yes, yes, I understand. As I saw, there were quite a few of you guys who were studying communications, marketing, PR, which are basically similar and very to each other. My suggestion in this would be to specialize in something very, very specific. Like find something and be the best at this. This is like the broad advice. Because there are a lot of people studying this, but it's still a field that needs people. It's still a field that needs people. The other suggestion would be languages. Like you need to learn as many languages as you can. Like be an expert on 1, 2, 3 languages. And especially if you go to Europe, Europe is like a continent where people freely speak 3, 4, or 5 languages because the distances are very small between countries with different languages and people with different languages. So first, find something very, very specific. For example, in the communication, one top of my head suggestion would be communication with adults in spectrum. For example, adults with spectrum or disabilities, people with disabilities, communication in this regard. For the marketing part, could be marketing for a certain sector. For example, you could be a great marketeer for the agriculture, let's say, and you specialize in that one. In communication, again, you could specialize in translation for X, Y language. And the thing about languages is that it's valuable everywhere. If you come to Europe, if you go back to your country, if you go somewhere else, always people need people who speak languages. So this is like number two suggestion. Learn as many languages you speak. And first, as I said, specialize in something very specific. These should go hand in hand with each other. And after that, as I said, network is very, very important. Network is super important. You need to know as many people as possible in order to get good opportunities. Because a lot of opportunities goes by word of mouth. Like you have a friend, he tells you something. You have a friend, he sees something and he shows you, and you have to be on and about. That's like a summarization of my advice about the specialization.
Okay, so what European country would you recommend for me?
My first question to you would be like, what language do you speak? Are you familiar with French or German?
No,
Are you willing to learn any of those two?
I am willing to learn.
One of my suggestions would be France or Belgium because there are a lot of international organizations there. So like in Belgium, you have the EU, the headquarters of the EU. There are 20, 30 agencies there who all hire communication students all the time. Of course, we have to understand communication. There are a lot of students studying communication. So like the market is tight, but it's not impossible. I don't want to demotivate you, but you have to be the best of the best. So like
Yes.
if you go to France or Belgium, there are two countries with a lot of institutions, international institutions, who need people who are specialized in very specific things. For example, if you specialize, as I said, in uh, adult in communication with adults with disabilities in a certain language, so like you specialize even more, not only adult with disabilities, but you add a specific language, and especially if that language is a language that is not that much spoken or that much known by a lot of people. For example, local language in whatever region. You could be
Mm.
hired in one of the institutions, one of hundreds of institutions in France or in Belgium, the EU institutions, the international institution, and different agencies. So like, and I'm speaking about the public sector at this point. So like NGOs, international NGOs, but also private sector. Private sector in France, France is like 60 million, 70 million, Belgium about 12 million. So we have countries with a market of 80 something million, and these are countries more liberal on the communication part. So there are more jobs for the communication. So to summarize my suggestion about you, about the countries, I would suggest France or Belgium if you are willing to learn French. And
Yeah.
you have to start as soon as possible with the French if you want to go and study and work in these countries.
Mm. Thank you.
You're
Hi.
welcome.
Please, as a diploma holder, do I fall in the threshold of the opportunities you were talking about? Do I fall in it? Maybe I offered communication studies and then I want to do PR and marketing. Do I fall as a diploma holder? Do I fall in this threshold?
I have to see the specific case. Like I have to see like your specific diploma and then see if it will. But in general, yes. In general, yes. Are you eligible to have a bachelor's or a master's like after your diploma?
Yes, I
No,
am.
I
So like with your diploma, can you apply for a master's program or you only apply for a professional program?
I can only apply for bachelor's program, not a master's program.
Or a bachelor's?
That's fine.
Okay. So okay, because I forgot to ask about the H part. You are looking for bachelor's program. We're speaking, right?
Yes.
Okay, for bachelor programs in France, 99% are in French. 99% are in French. So you'd have to learn French. And I believe for international students for bachelors, it's a little bit late because they close like in mid-fall. But Belgium is still available. Belgium is still available. And you have bachelor's in English, but I have to recheck. I have to re-see the availability. But I would suggest the Belgium for the communications, PR, and marketing. And if you don't have like the degree in communication now, but you plan to have your bachelor's there, I would say you could do another degree related. For example, in PR and marketing, we could find something in marketing, like specifically marketing, and you could do the bachelor's, and then in master's you could specialize. For everybody who's looking for bachelor's, you guys are still in time. You still have time. You can do a more broader bachelor, and then during those 3 years or 4 years, you see where do you find yourself, because this is also very important. And from then, you decide on what master to pursue. But you fall in this category, like if you're looking for bachelor's, like everything I said suggested about career-wise still is valid. Only the language part is very important. You have to learn French as soon as possible.
So what if I don't want to learn French? Can I learn any other language there apart from French?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What
Um,
if what if I don't want to learn French? Maybe
Okay.
any other language there, but apart from French. Is that
Uh,
possible?
Yes, yeah, of course, of course. I suggested France because it's very open to communications and marketing and PR. Like Germany is not that much. For example, Germany has the advantage of being a huge market with huge corporations and a lot of opportunities in the private sector. So, like, if we could do like a separation in France and Belgium, we have a lot of public organizations, NGOs, EU, because EU capital is Brussels and Strasbourg. Like, you have the organization based there. In Germany, it's more private sector. In Germany, there are corporations which you would work in the future in the marketing sector of these corporations. And these 100% require a very good knowledge of German. But the good news is you have like 3.5 years, 4 years to master German before going to the market, to the job market. Like the year that we are now, plus the 3 years of bachelor in general. Austria would be another option. Austria has not a huge market, but it's still good. It's still good. There are some international NGOs. We have one United Nations office in Vienna. We have the OSCE there. There are some other international NGOs, and of course, the private sector, as I said, exists there too. It's not comparable to Germany. Austria is 8.5 million, if I'm not mistaken, 9 million. Germany is 80 million, so like it's 10 times more. Uh, but also would be a good options. The tuitions there, as I said, are about 1,500 flat, like Depends on university, but that's like where they rotate. And it could be another option for the marketing part. I do not suggest you guys very Southern Europe, like Spain, Portugal, Italy. I don't suggest that much because of the post-study options and because of the salaries and the market there is not the best at this moment. It's not the best. But like as I said, France and Germany are like the two columns of Europe. You have to learn either one of the languages. Or if you can afford a school in Sweden, I would suggest Sweden with both hands. Sweden is a very great opportunity. Great schools, great salary, great market, even though it's relatively small. And but you have to learn language eventually, and is more expensive. Like the tuitions vary between like 8,000, 9,000, something more, sometimes more. Like that would be like the best suggestion. And of course, you have Eastern Europe, but that would be like the next suggestion. My main one would be France, Germany, Austria, and Sweden.
Okay, please, one more question from me.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay. So, as a diploma student, hoping to apply for a bachelor certificate in any of the countries you've mentioned, can I have a part-time job? Can I work alongside schooling or something?
Yes,
Is
yes.
I can.
Yes, you are. It depends on the country. Every country has its own rules. In general, you are allowed to work half a shift a week, which is like 20 hours, 15 or 20 hours a week. Some
Okay.
countries doesn't allow in the first semester. For example, Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't allow work in the first semester. You start from the second semester, but
Okay.
you can everywhere. But I have to say that it's hard to maintain working and studying at the same time. Like it is hard. It's not suggested. Like you have to really be focused on that. But it is doable. Like you are allowed and it is doable, of course.
Yeah, that is
But
true.
half a shift,
Although
like 20 hours a
something
week.
something that I wanted to touch on a little bit is what we cover as well. Um, I think that you asked a really good question with the part-time job because this is a question that a lot of our clients have. And this is why I wanted to go over a little bit what we actually do. Let's say that there is a person that is interested in collaborating or working with us. Okay. So first things first. Each and every one of you, we were having a discussion with Derek, is that each and every one of you will have a free call that will be follow up to this webinar, okay? Because not everyone will have the opportunity to talk. Some of you are shy and don't want to even send a text message on the chat here. So everyone will have the opportunity to have a follow up call with us, so we can find the right opportunities for you guys, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is that what we specialize in. We specialize from end-to-end service, from guiding you and presenting you with the opportunities. This is what you can do, this what you can do in all of the Europe or US market or whatever that you want to do based on your situation because everyone is different. That's the first thing, which is the guidance, and then documents. Okay, like the first would be education, getting you into the right program, into the right school, into the right country. With us, another thing is that you are not limited to only applying to one country. Okay. The moment that what we do is that we will create a research paper for you. And this is before you even make any deposit or anything, right? This is just a service that we do for you. All of that guidance that we had during the meeting, during the call, we will give you a full list of the schools, countries with all of the details, right? With this, you have a possibility for a full scholarship. With this, you have a possibility for this. The tuition for this will be that much, okay? So everything will be breaking down for you, and this list will be sent to you. You select in which countries you want to apply to. You have the right to do more than one, more than two countries, okay? And then it's like the initial stage. The second one is preparation of your documents. These are only education targeted. This is basically one of the crucial things because not only if you want to go for a scholarship, we will also do the scholarship application, and moving forward with the rest as well. Another thing that I wanted to let you guys know is that the deadline for for the majority of the government-funded scholarships on the receiving end is, I think, a second week of January, third week of January, like around that time, for a good majority of schools as well in Europe. Okay, this is if you want to study in 2026. Okay, so it only opens around once a year. Okay, so make sure that you have that deadline written down. This is like the second thing. The third thing, of course, is submission the application from our end. we will make sure that you submit all of the applications that are necessary. And then from there is after you receive the admission is basically helping you with the flying to that country and integrating to that country. So it doesn't end only with the school application or the scholarship application, because at the end of the day, the whole point is to offer you the full support system. Okay, we can help you when it comes to housing guidance. We can give you different options. That's the first thing. How to open a bank account there, what you will need to on how to go about the country that you will be relocating to, integration stuff as well, what you will need to be applying to, how to get the student card, etc., etc. And then not only that, but in some cases, we have also worked with different clients when it comes to the part-time job applications. Okay. In some countries, for example, in Germany, we as a consulting firm, we already have open contracts. Okay. We have access to over 30,000 employment contracts. So I can, majority of them are full-time, but we can also find part-time positions for you guys or make the necessary recommendations. What you will need to do, we can also prepare the documents from our end. Okay. So you can go ahead and let's say like be safe. Okay, does that make sense? So I wanted to give you kind of like a picture of what we do, because it's not only the education. Like, yes, we will provide you with the guidance, we will help you with the documents, like we will help you with everything of that sort, but it's also the integration part, like you going there and flying there and all of this logistics when it comes to visa, when it comes to um the like the flying part there and assistance with any other thing. We also That's why we also collaborate with Travel Center Ghana as well. So Derek, if you want, you can also pitch in a little bit here.
Yeah. So again, to summarize what Elena just said, what she's saying is we help with education and then we help with work. So if you want to school outside Ghana, we'll help you with it. If you want to work outside Ghana, we're helping you with it. Now let's talk about schooling outside Ghana. What we are saying is we are in touch with quite a number of universities, especially in Europe and even in Asia. So with these institutions, the tuition is free, or there's no tuition, what we call school fees. So you're not paying school fees. However, when it comes to, so what we do is we would help you get admission because we interact with the school. So we help you prepare your documents. We know what the schools expect, what they look for. So we'll let you know, bring this, bring that, do not bring this. This is not relevant. This is especially relevant. So we guide you through the process. Then the school says, okay, we have given you admission. What else would you need? Now, if the school has given you admission, it means you're not paying tuition. But then when you go, you have to live somewhere. We're going to help you find accommodation. Now, of course, that is not free because it's the school that we are helping you with. But just as if somebody lives in Accra and you do not live in Accra and you are coming to Accra, you may go and rent at East Legon or cantonments, and all your money will go into rental. Meanwhile, you don't know that, oh, if you were at maybe Medina, the accommodation would have been better. So we're going to help you with these things as well. Where to go if it comes to visa, because of course when you get the admission letter, you would have to apply for visas. We would help you through the visa process because anybody who is into these things know that normally this is what is expected from students. This is what you're supposed to provide. When you go for visa interview, we train you what to say. I think last year, one of our students was going for an interview. This was US, and then he was going for a PhD. So he gets there, and out of all the questions, they said, so you're going to have a PhD. What is your research topic? Now, on any other day, some students would fumble because they would not expect, this is my bank statement, this is this is that. The school's letter is here. Why are you asking me? But this is something that would throw off many students. But then because of preparation, this person was able to go through. So we prepare and tutor you what to say, how to present yourself and whatnot. And then you enter your plane, you get into Europe. Now, when you get there, you're new, you're a greenhorn, you don't know where to go, where to pick bus, where to buy Hausa cocoa and all those things. Of course, you may not find Hausa cocoa there, but then the point is, so we help you settle in the country so that you don't get too lost or missing. When it comes to work, as the colleagues have indicated, we can help you school and work. And a number of students are interested in that because they would want the work, the stipend they get from the work to supplement their existence over there. So that at least if your family, they all put together things and then help you travel to the country, at least it's not every CD that you're calling them for or every euro you're calling them for. So you have something you're doing on the side. That's fine. We can help you with that. For those who solely are focused on, I am going there to work, that too we can arrange for you. And I think Elena spoke a little about that. So, Elena, I wanted us to have this kind of tete-a-tete or conversation. Some of the questions that normally students would want to have answers for, some of them have been answered, but then I want us to have a conversation. And then this can help throw some light on what students are supposed to do. For
Okay.
instance, for instance, normally when we are going to US, UK, Canada. Now those in US, some of them are even being returned. So if normally when we are going to those three countries, they ask for IELTS and whatnot. Now when I'm going to Europe, am I to write these proficiency tests as well? Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we can touch a little bit on what is required and what is not required for the European application in general, but also for the fully funded or government funded scholarships as well, because these are different, okay? And I think that Henry can take the floor here when it comes to the in detail steps, especially when it comes to the government funded scholarships, because we want to touch on that a little bit more in detail as well. So what are the documentations that we will be needing, Henry? But let's go through this by step slow, okay?
Yes, yes. So
Yes.
first things
Henry,
first,
before you
every
begin,
scholarship,
Henry,
every government school. Yes,
yes, before you begin, I think as Elena said, you speak a little slowly for us because of the French accent. Sometimes we struggle with some of the words, but then we'll be good. And if a booger can also come in sometimes to help.
okay, apologize. I'll try to speak slower.
All right.
As I was saying, the government scholarships in Europe are mostly concentrated in Eastern Europe, so in Eastern European countries. Every single one of these government scholarships has different requirements for the documentation. I will give you an explanation of the scholarship as first, and then a broad generalization of the documents that uh, all of them ask for, and the documents that some of them ask for. Basically, we are talking about Poland, Slovakia, Romania, Hungary, and Czech Republic to a lesser extent. These are the main countries that offer, and Turkey. These are the main countries that offer scholarships in Europe, in Eastern Europe. This type of scholarships contains of no tuition, so like the school is tuition free. There is a small amount that is given to every student every month. It is relatively depending on countries, about $100 to $150. It depends on the scholarship, and you have a free room for accommodation, or if you can get a free room for whatever reason, if the rooms are filled, for example, you get an amount in money of the equivalent of the room's cost. This is in general for the most scholarships. What this scholarship have in common, which is the most important detail, is that the majority of this scholarship require 1 year of language study, which means if you are going to apply for the Romanian scholarship, you're going to need to study 1 year of Romanian language in Romania, which is also part of the scholarship, which you are going to have no tuition, get a monthly stipend, and have a free room. And after that 1 year, you study a degree in Romanian language for whatever years the degree is. This logic is the same for half of them, and for some of them, you could study in English. It all depends on the call. The call every year has little differences, but this is the general part. Is it doable? Absolutely. Is it gettable? Absolutely.
Do you hear me,
Uh,
Henry?
yes,
Yes, about the language. You were given an
yes,
example, Czech Republic, for instance. So what you're saying is, if I get the scholarship or if I'm admitted, I am going to go to Romania and then learn the language there for a year.
yes, yes. And then study a degree in Romanian, in
Okay,
that university.
so it's
Some
part of my
countries,
university.
sorry?
It's part of my university learning. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes. This is part of the scholarship too. So, like for a master degree, which is usually 2 years, you're gonna have an additional year in the beginning of Romanian language learning in the Romanian case. And after doing the 1 year of Romanian language, you start a degree in whatever subject in the Romanian language in a university in Romania, fully funded, no tuition, and a monthly stipend. This is the same for Hungary. But sometimes they allow English degrees. Turkey also. Turkey is by far the largest if we take like numbers wise. So like Turkey could be the easiest in a way for everyone to get. Uh, every year the amount of the stipend and the amount of the room is different. So like for the 100% clear information, we would have to wait for the call to be pronounced, which would be pronounced soon for all of this, but in general, these are what they offer. Now for the documentation, what they ask for. If you apply for the bachelor's, of course, they ask for the high school diploma, the high school subject, and the high school grades. For those who haven't finished high school yet, verification that they are studying high school and they are going to get the diploma, the degree of high school in summer or wherever, whenever the high school ends. The subjects, the grades of the subjects, then the motivation letter, which is very important, where you say why you need this scholarship, what are your plans for the future, and etc. Every volunteering, every certificate, every achievement that the student has. This is part of the CV in a way. Everything that they've done during their life, everything they've achieved gets in a file and gets sent to the application. Uh, if the program is in English, they're going to require an English language certificate. If the native language of the student is English, uh, it can be a requirement that only gets to need the high school diploma saying that the high school was in English and the native language is English in this case. So basically, the one that is required in all of the scholarships is the diploma, the grades, and the subjects. For master's degrees, they require the bachelor. For bachelor degrees application, they require the high school, basically. And all the volunteering certificates, achievements that the student have, both sport, art related, school related, everything. And sometimes they require recommendation letters, two recommendation letters from a teacher or employers, depending on the situation. But as I said, every scholarship has its own requirements and its own benefits. But this is like the general requirement that they ask for. If anyone has a question about
If
scholarship,
anyone has a
yeah.
question about scholarship, yeah, man.
So while this is
So,
going,
hi.
Hello.
yeah, hold on.
When you just started speaking about Romania, I started growing interest for Romania because it is free tuition. You're being paid while you're in school. You are able to learn the language, and then you even might have a room according to what you're doing in the country. But as a diploma student, learning communication studies, it wasn't part of the countries you recommended. But I'm growing interest for the country. Do you think it is advisable for me to choose Romania as an European country I would love to study in?
Look,
What do you want to study?
yes, yes and no. Why yes and why no? I
Is
will elaborate.
somebody listening?
The thing,
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
what
Okay.
about now?
Okay.
Shall I start my question again?
No,
No, we
I
heard your
heard your
question.
question.
Okay.
I was answering, maybe the line went off.
Yeah.
Basically, these scholarships are in the Eastern European countries because Eastern European countries want to promote their countries, want to get business in their countries, want to get professional in their countries, and want to form bridges between countries that the students come from and the country of destination, in this case, Romania. Between Germany and Romania, of course, I would suggest Germany because the market is 4 or 5 times larger population-wise and hundreds of times larger business-wise. But these options in Eastern Europe about the scholarships are in case that the finances are not enough to study in Germany, in France, or anywhere else in Europe. These are not bad universities, like by any means. Like in Europe, every university is a great university. So even the Romanian one, even the Slovakian one, even the Hungarian and Polish universities are great universities and great programs. I want to add that maybe the stipend that they give for every month might not be enough for the living conditions. It's a modest amount. For some people, it may be. For some people, may not. Like it depends on the lifestyle. So even if you get the scholarship, you still might need some funding, a little one, just for the living costs. But the Romanian one, as we mentioned, is relatively easy to get, relatively easy. The market is not dead, but it's not as good as Germany, if we could compare. I said that I do not suggest the Eastern Europe when we were talking, as I said, about Germany, France, Switzerland, Sweden. So, like, if you could afford to study in Germany, you better study in Germany, in my opinion, is the better option. If you are only interested for the scholarships, Romania is a very very good example. It's in European Union. You have they are experiencing a brain drain, so like people are leaving Romania, so there are a lot of opportunities there open for new students, for newcomers, and of course in this program you're gonna learn a language. So like when you finish, when you graduate, you are speaking Romanian. So it would be easier, but again, about the suggestion part, I would suggest Germany if it's only Germany and Romania, if you could afford it.
All right.
I
All
don't know
right.
if that answers your question.
Okay. So whilst the meeting is going on, if you check the chat section, there is a link to a WhatsApp group that you can join. So after this, if you need any further information, we'll be sharing further information over there as well. So if you join, it's in the chat. So please, you can join from there. And I see a hand up, Jemima.
Yeah,
Jemima,
there are two people that
Yeah,
have.
hi. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
yes, can hear you, Jemima.
All right, great. So I wanted to find out about your requirements. I know we've talked about the school, we've talked about the things we need and all of those things, but may we kindly know the charges you charge for these processes? Because well, I want to start immediately because I have intentions of leaving just next year, so I want to start immediately. And looking at the time frame, we have limited time to get everything, including the visa processes and all of those. So I would like it if you talk about the your percentage, and
Yeah.
will it be instant or could we go and maybe probably
Oh,
pay in installments? I just want to know the plan. Yes,
okay, so
please.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
going to address this very generally because the everyone's situation is different. So, the first thing that I would encourage you to do is click on the link that Derek mentioned there, so you can join the WhatsApp group chat. Okay, and after it, in the up during this week, but also during the next week, because we have a lot of people joining, we will make sure that with each and every one of you to have a private call. Okay. So we can know exactly what your situation is, give you the exact things that you will need, and how can we help you? Okay, the additional side, not only the education one, but also the visa, the everything else that it might be included, maybe a part-time job, the country's integration, and everything else. Okay, it's true that the time is, we're very on the clock now because the 1st of January, it's approaching very, very soon, and the scholarships will be ending mid-January. Okay. Now, That is true. But for these questions, I do want to address it with each and every one personally because not everyone's situation is similar. Okay. For example, in different countries, we have different charges. Okay. And for different profiles, we have different charges as well. Okay. Although something that I do want to let you know is that I know you have seen probably some very, very high charges from different agencies. We're not like that. Okay. There's not a really high charge based on the market study that we have done. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that the payment can be done in installments, okay? Because the idea is that this is a process that takes time, okay? It's not like you apply today and you get admitted tomorrow. That can also happen because that has happened plenty of times. But the idea is that with people that like the majority of cases that does not happen, okay? It's a process, so payment in installments is applied, okay? Although considering that we will have the private calls, everyone we will be addressing everyone's questions on there, okay? And the charges as well, okay? I hope I answered your question. So I know that we have another person that has raised their hand. Okay, Katie, can you hear me? Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you, Elena, for all the education. Thank you, Teacher Noma, Prince, and Henry. Now, I have a little concern. When Henry was talking, he mentioned that to get the government funded scholarship, or should I say the fully funded scholarship, you need certain things. And among them, he mentioned that what you achieved so far. Now, I want to know specifically, is it in terms of education? Is it in terms of
It's usually in terms of
society?
everything. It's usually in terms of everything. The bulkier the portfolio, the better your chances of getting it.
Is it something that should benefit you or should benefit society?
In terms of your accomplishments, who
Yes.
benefits from your accomplishments?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter as long as you consider it an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment. Okay?
Okay.
Don't really overthink that part. Whatever that you have that you consider an accomplishment, it's an accomplishment. We add it to your portfolio, okay? Plus, with everyone, we have a very tailored guidance, okay? So everyone's accomplishments are different. The idea is that if you consider it accomplished, if it had an impact on you, on someone else, on a society or whatever, it's considered an accomplishment. We add it to the portfolio, okay?
Okay, now let's also look at the countries. I am particularly interested in the Asian countries, say China, Japan. Yes, I'm interested in the Asian countries. So, with them and looking at the language barrier, is there anything that can be done for people like us to be able to fit in if we should go then? Can we get a fully funded scholarship there?
I know that Asia is one of Henry's favorite countries, continents as well. So, Henry, if you can pitch in a little bit here. Wait, Henry, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Oh, Henry, you're on mute. I believe, Henry, can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was muted by the system. I couldn't get a mute. I
Mhm.
wanted to say for the first question about the achievements, sportive, artsy, if you did sports in your life, if you did paintings in your life, whatever you did, volunteering, Red Cross, everything that you did in your life counts. But the second question about Asia, there are opportunities in Asia. There are, as recently in Kazakhstan, there are in Malaysia about fully funded scholarship. There are in Azerbaijan, but I believe they would cancel the next year program. So for 2 years after, it would be possible. China has government scholarships, but they operate differently about the China one. But it depends. Where exactly do you want to concentrate in Asia? Like, because different countries and different regions have different opportunities and different requirements.
So normally, you know, well, in this country, when we talk about Asia, we're normally looking at the Chinas and Um, what? Sometimes in their
Okay,
probably
China
for
has government
no,
scholarships. So this
normally
is-
when they hear the stunts because of Afghanistan and when they hear Kazakhstan, they think it's a war-torn country. So please throw more light on that for them.
yes. Kazakhstan is a normal country, like no war for anyone getting confused about it. Like it's a 30-something million country near Russia. It has a booming economy. Like it has corporations, it has potassium, uranium, large minerals. For example, there are a lot of engineering opportunities there for like mining and everything. There are very good schools like polytechnicums about mining and engineering. They have a scholarship like okay, Singapore, China, or Malaysia. Someone says in the comment section. Malaysia is by far out of this the best opportunity, I would believe, about the scholarships. I have to check. We have to check about the language part because same as Eastern European countries, these countries too want to promote their language. This is uh like the idea behind scholarships. They want to promote their language. So like wherever you plan to go, you have to learn the language of that country. Malaysia is a good opportunity. Singapore doesn't offer this type of scholarships. There are funding opportunities, but it's very hard to reach in Singapore. Korea and Japan has scholarships, but still harder than Malaysia, China, or Kazakhstan. In Japan, there is the MEXT called MEXT scholarship. I believe they might be open for the next year. It depends because MEXT scholarship, in difference from other scholarships, doesn't operate in a uniform program everywhere. Max scholarship, it's all dependable on the country. For example, max scholarship for Egypt would be different from max scholarship from Algeria, let's say. Every country has its own. It depends on the politics at that time. So to summarize Asia, you have opportunities in China, you have opportunities in Malaysia and Kazakhstan who are very achievable, and you have harder opportunities in Korea and in Japan. I also wanted to say something because someone in the comments said about the blocked accounts. I believe it was Adan, if I'm not mistaken, asking about the blocked accounts in Europe. Uh, if I could summarize that part, most of the countries in Europe require a blocked account to get the student visa. If you guys are not familiar with the term blocked account, I'll explain to you right now. It's basically a bank account blocked with your money for you, which you are going to get while you live there. It's a guarantee for the country that says, okay, you have the necessary funding to survive 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on the program. In Germany, at this moment is about 11,900, but there will probably be 12,500 euros, speaking every time, for next year. So the blocked account in Germany is about 12,500. Countries like France, Italy, Spain has lower amounts, about 7,000 something, 8,000 something, depending. But every country has its own blocked account system. Some countries don't require blocked accounts. Some countries have other ways of proving the financial part. But it all depends. Every application is different. Every country is different. Every university is different. It all depends.
Okay, so to give you a broader explanation of the blocked account, I mean, people will ask, why do I need a blocked account and all of that? I'll say 90% of schools in Germany are tuition free. That's most public schools are tuition free in the sense that once you gain admission, you're not paying any tuition, right? Even if you're going to pay some form of semester fee, it won't be more than 100 euros. Okay, so the blocked account is to prove to the government that you can take care of yourself in Germany, while studying as well. So that is why there's a blocked account. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I see that one person has raised their hand, Kezia. Jemima as well.
Okay. My question is,
Mhm.
a friend of mine is a student nurse, and then she would like to know what opportunities she can get if she wants to study outside Ghana in these countries you've mentioned, and what country in particular can she study?
What is her current program?
I think in nursing.
A bachelor's in nursing.
Yes, I'm sure she hasn't graduated. She's still schooling. I don't know. Maybe she can start a bachelor's degree in the countries you're talking about with her SHS certificate or something.
She will be looking for a bachelor's?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, and does she still want to maintain the nursing? I mean, is she willing to pivot into something else, or she wants to maintain the nursing stuff?
I'm sure she would want to maintain the nursing.
Okay. So regarding nursing in Europe, the number one thing you need is the language, right? If she's willing to learn the language, we could get her something, right? Germany, obviously, she would need a language, right? Also, there is Sweden and Belgium as well. But I would recommend Germany, just that the language might be an issue. But if she's willing to learn the language, fine.
I wanted to have like a follow-up question on this case, regarding your friend in nursing. Considering that she will be going for a bachelor's, what kind of diploma certification is she pursuing now? Because I think that we had a similar case, Prince. I don't know if you remember the diploma that you told me that is kind of like hard to get something.
Yeah. That was an HND.
Yeah. Is that a similar program, Kezia, to your friend?
Yes, she's offering HND now.
Hmm.
She's not done with it. So if she wants to apply for a bachelor's degree, that means she'll be using her senior high school certificate
Yeah.
for that certificate. That's how it's gonna be.
Okay. All right. So listen, considering that we can't, have the webinar for 6 hours long, that's why we will have the follow-up calls with each and every one of you so we can address each and every one's situations more in depth, okay? Because for example, with this diploma in nursing, it's not that of a straightforward route. Okay, there are some other stuff that we will need in order for us to give a certain recommendation, if that makes sense. So I would like to leave this open topic until we have a private conversation as well. All right. So yeah. And I also see that Jemima has raised her hand.
Yes. Before Jemima, please note that as we're having this conversation, you realize that we try as much as possible not to give too general an advice because everybody's situation is different. Somebody has an HND, somebody has WASI, somebody has a certain background in, let's say, electrical wiring that you probably do not know. And you would say, this person has a diploma, I have a diploma. Why does this person have it? Why am I not getting the opportunity? And that is why we have created this group so that, as Elena earlier mentioned, we would speak to everybody, but then we would also provide you with a document on the page that gives you some more details as to what it is that you ought to know. Because it's just like when you go to the hospital, a doctor would want to really find out what is wrong with you. If you say you have a headache, the doctor would say it is just symptoms of something you're having, a disease you're having. So they would want to test and make sure they know what it is that they are treating. And that is the same thing we want to do here. So, Jemima, you can go ahead.
So I wanted to find out the block account. The block account. Do we need to have it personally, or can you assist us get it, please?
Yeah, we also assist on that department. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Okay.
So you can assist us to get our own account, and
The document.
yes, please.
The document for that. We will go a little bit more in depth in this subject. It's actually tailored towards the individual and the program that you're going into as well. So we will have a more in-depth conversation with each and every one when it comes to the blocked account, depending on the country that you will go into. Different countries have different requirements, different programs have different requirements. Okay. I see that you guys, I like the fact that you guys have a high interest when it comes to the European market. I told you it's a really cool market in the beginning. But now I really wanted to, because we don't want to go very, very broad on this. I believe that the people that have asked questions have received their answers. We will be having, again, as I mentioned, the follow-up calls with each and every one of you so we can address each and every one situation. And by all means, if you have a sister, a friend who wants to join during our private calls, you can also do that, okay? Um, so we can basically target each and everyone's basically questions, okay? Now, the thing that I really want to emphasize is look into the education and not only education, okay? Pick the country that offers you the highest opportunities. Pick the country that after you complete that bachelor's or master's, offers you the opportunity for a good job. Okay, for and to be in a high demand industry as well. Okay, don't pursue your master to just pursue your master's and to say I have a master's. Because let me tell you, if that master is not like it's not the thing that you will get you something better or will elevate you, that won't be worth that much. Okay, so go into the program that you really need based on the market. That's why we're here. That's why we have the guidance calls. I can tell you, for example, let's say that you're in the engineering space or heavy industry space. We can tell you the right countries where those contracts are. I can portray on how your future will look like. Study this, do this, and then you will receive this. The contract will be worth this much. Your house will be at this side, okay? So the idea is to offer you the support that probably even me when I relocated to pursue an employment opportunity didn't have. Okay, so we were there before. Henry pursued education abroad before, Prince as well. I went with a certain employment opportunity abroad. So the idea is that we have gone through all of the things that are kind of like tricky. We learn from our mistakes and we know the support that is needed, and that's why we're not limited only towards employment or towards education. We want to support you guys in every sphere, okay? But the idea is for you to be happy and to feel supported. If you go, for example, to pursue an education in Germany, right? I can tell you that because once a client knows a client, to be honest, I can tell you that you completed your university there and you have this perfect. Remember the documents that we did? We can tailor it. You can land a job. Okay. I have an open contract. I can send you that. All right. So you will have the support throughout the entire time. Okay, this is something that I really wanted to touch on a little bit because I see that a lot of people in the market, they help with getting admission and then the visa, and then that's it. What happens after that? Because your life doesn't end there. Your life actually starts there. The entire thing starts there. A lot of people have really difficulties when it comes to networking at the university that they will be going to, but they use equivalent degrees. You will need that. Okay. A lot of people have troubles with integration, so we can actually help on that sector as well. You went to the university, you want to land a part-time job, we also have the keys to that. So the full like the entire idea is to offer you the full support, okay? Let me know if that makes sense, okay? And I don't know if you can send like emojis here on Zoom, but we worked like 2 years to create these packages, so I want to see some like cool emojis on the group chat, even though I can't see those on the group chat right now because I'm sharing my screen, but I'll make sure to look at those. Okay, I can see a heart. I can see a heart now. But yeah. So it took us 2 years in order for us to really find where the loopholes of the systems are, and not only the loopholes, but also to kind of like confidently tell you guys that listen, we have a exclusive partnership with the employment agency in Germany. Over 30,000 open contracts, okay? So after your education in Germany, for example, you can give us a call and say, "Hey, Lena, remember me? You helped me get into this university. Now I want a job." Okay, so we can help you with every single little thing. Okay, that's why I really wanted to mention it here very, very quickly. Another thing is we actually touched on a little bit regarding this beyond Europe, the global opportunities, the Asian market, and the student exchange program. Although I really want to touch base more in depth with each and everyone's situation in private. Okay. If you guys have anyone that you would want to recommend, I don't know, maybe you have a friend who's thinking of relocating abroad through employment, through education, um, everything, right? you can also invite that person in. And another thing that I also wanted to let you know about is considering that we have like a lot of calls, like on a weekly basis, we might have like 30, 40 calls from different people. Okay. One thing that I've recently came into, there are two things actually that I recently came into in touch with. The first thing is the opportunity card in Germany. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. But with the opportunity card in Germany, there are plenty of people that are struggling because it's portrayed as it's the best opportunity in order for you to go 6 months in Germany with your expenses, right? And that you have to land a job, that you can land a job there. Okay? It's not that easy. The reason why we have the partnerships that we have is to make the transition smoother, easier, and more efficient for the client. Okay? Don't get scammed by people that tell you that it's easy to relocate. Oh, you want to get into here? It's easy. It's not that easy. All right. We have had our fair share of successes, but we also learned a lot throughout the way. Okay. So one thing that I've came into contact a lot lately was the opportunity card in Germany. People that went there with their own expenses, struggling to find a job. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is people that relocated for a master's program and got stuck in a country. For example, the UK. A lot of people are feeling stuck in the UK. There are people who have been unemployed for 2 years and they're currently on the verge of getting deported from the country. So please make sure that you think everything through. Okay? Pick the country that offers you the best opportunities, not only for the education, but for everything. Okay? Does this country have the jobs that I want? Does this country will provide me with the salary that I want? Will this country give me the masters that I want that I can use not only here but in other countries as well? Okay? Ask the bigger questions because trust me, they like out there are plenty of opportunities. Okay? But don't get confused with people that tell you it's easy because it's not. Okay? I'm not telling you to discourage you, but all I'm saying is that make sure to ask the right questions to the right people. Okay? Ask the right questions to the right people. Will this degree be worth it for me? If I have a professional degree, am I higher or lower compared to someone that has the same thing but in a different country? If I have this, will I get a higher salary? Okay? Ask these questions before. Don't go for a master's just to go for a master's. Think of the broader picture. Okay? If you want to relocate and stay within the country that you're relocated, you're supposed to ask the bigger questions. I know that you have seen probably from your friends, colleagues, family members that they relocate and then they come back. That's not the purpose. If you relocated, stay there. Why come back? I tell that from a personal experience because if I wanted to relocate, I would just like relocate. Okay. I hope that my TED talk made sense. So if there's any questions, I think that now we're going to jump in the Q&A sector because I don't want to take much of your guys' time. Derek has shared a link when it comes to the group chat on WhatsApp. Please make sure to join there. The idea is to offer you, this is the first time that we do this because we don't do this. It's the first time that we do a collaboration like this, and we don't select anyone. Okay, not everyone. Okay, we don't select every one when it comes to the collaborations that we do, just because we really want to keep a high standard to the services that we offer. Okay, because as I told you, you're supposed to ask the right questions to the right people. All right, so please make sure to join the group chat that is basically on the chat there. And if there's any questions that you want to address, feel free, and the floor is yours. I know I talked a little bit too much, but I got carried away. So tell me now any questions that you have.
Okay, so before we leave, right, I know a few of you would want to know the specific documents you might need or how to go around that and all of that. The number one document you should have if you're looking to apply for a master program is your transcript, okay? Your degree certificate, and most importantly, your CV, right? As Henry mentioned earlier, you should have a comprehensive list of activities you've done. It doesn't matter what it is, volunteering, extracurricular, whatever. We would put everything together in a comprehensive CV for you, all right? But you should have your transcript, your degree certificate, and also for Germany, it's crazy. For Germany, you also need your WASI results as well, right? That's your high school diploma stuff. You need that as well. So this is what I would like to add on to.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And as we have earlier indicated, all these things, we would also put it on the platform for you so that if there's anything you forget, you can refer to it. This video or this session is also being recorded. We're going to upload it on YouTube. So if you know anyone who wanted to join but could not, you can share the link with the person, and the person can also go there and watch and educate themselves. Now, we're not here to deceive or defraud anyone. I do not know, some people here may know me. I am Mr. Derek Onoma, a lecturer at Unimac IJ, formerly GIJ.
I know you.
Oh, okay. So I think I saw.
I know you too.
Hey, people know me. Let me see by hand those who know me. I see Kezia. I see. Oh, okay. Oh, God said is here. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So quite a number of my students are here from.
Oh, yeah, I'm here too. I am here too. So you know who this is.
Yeah.
Barry.
Yes, I realize. So,
You haven't worked on my transcript then. I messaged you yesterday.
okay. So let's focus on this. Send me the messages on WhatsApp. I would attend to that. But as I said, we're going to take things step by step so that everybody knows and is clear on what it is that they are doing and what is expected of them. If you're going to Germany, what we'll be expecting from you is different from if you're going to China or Malaysia or wherever it is where you want to go to. Even the program you're going to study will determine that. I'm also seeing Kinsley over here. Kinsley, I hope you're good. All right, Kinsley. So I hope some of your questions were answered because Kinsley came focused solely on looking for job opportunities as well. I hope you have joined the WhatsApp group so that if you have any further questions, because normally when the online discussions take long, people's data starts getting finished and their network also starts getting bad and they keep dropping off. So if there are no questions, we would get to rounding up so that if there are any further questions that come to your mind during the week, remember it's also time bound, but then during the week, feel free to send a question or a message to the platform. I have also shared Travel Center Ghana's number. You can send a WhatsApp message to that number as well. When you check the chats, you can find that there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I want to say thank you all for joining us this morning. Now we're in the afternoon. We appreciate the time you've taken to learn about the opportunities available for studying or working in Europe and other parts of the world. Now, we all know, and this is why we have come here, that education is one of the most powerful investments you can make in your future. And today's session, we designed it to give you clarity, direction, and confidence. So on behalf of Travel Center Ghana and Goals Consult, and of course, we had Elena talking to us. We also had Henry and Abuga, all from Goals Consult, for joining us, providing valuable insights today. So if today's session has inspired you to take the next step, our doors are open. Reach out, ask your questions, and begin your process early. The sooner you start, the smoother your journey will be. So thank you once again. Stay safe. We look forward to supporting your international education dreams. I do not know if Elena would want to say one last word, or Henry or Abuga, and then we will say goodbye.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining, for taking your time. I do encourage you, as I encouraged you various times before, to join that group chat, and we will have a conversation together again. Okay. Who do we direct the questions? You can actually join the group chat, and we can address the questions there as well. Okay.
Somebody's question might open your doors or throw more light into what you also want to know. So we would have those discussions there as well.
Yeah. But I do thank you very, very much. Thank you, Derek, for offering this opportunity to us as well. I think it was a great webinar. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think it was a great webinar. And you can share like some emojis there, because some of you, are not showing your faces, or you're, on mute. So we can communicate through sign language or through emoji language. So you can be sharing those here as well. Okay. But it was great talking to you. Thank you very, very much for your time. And yeah, we will stay in touch, and we will all be on that group chat, okay? So I'm looking forward to basically continuing this more privately and more tailored towards everyone's situation. But yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, so for the benefit of those who would see this recording, I do not know if they will be able to access the chats. So just for this, I am mentioning the WhatsApp number 055 0550. I'm taking it again, 0550 252 252. 0550 252 252. So you can send me a message on WhatsApp, and I shall add you to the WhatsApp group. Thank you to everyone. And since Henry is here, I'll speak French. Au revoir, à bientôt. Henry, I'm sure I got it right. All right then.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you
Bye,
so much for the
everyone.
time.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye.